Hey, what's up guys, this is Gary again. This is a very interesting video. So I'm doing this kind of video first time. So this is building a PC from 0 to 100%. Like, I ordered various parts and I will assemble in front of you. So let's talk about what you really need to build a PC. There are a few important things which you need to take care. First of all, the brain of the PC, which is CPU. So you have to decide how much power you want, how many cores you need, and what kind of task you are doing. Based on that, you can choose your CPU. So in my case, I'm more into content creation. Like, I do video editing, I do animation or graphic design. So in that case, I need something which is very robust and powerful. But if you are into like gaming only, still you need a powerful PC, but there are different options in that. So let's start with that. So in my case, I went for Intel i9 processor. There is another option from AMD Ryzen. Those processors are really very good. Those are 12 core processors, but I don't need 12 core processor. There are reasons behind it. So I will be using PC mainly for video editing and some other graphic work. So with the research, this came into my knowledge that you don't need more cores for Adobe especially. So it should be better if you go with the Intel. So I'll show you different benchmarks soon. So this research is basically done by my brother, this guy. This is Indrajot. So he has his own blog. If you want to read some interesting posts, want to know what's going on in the technology, I would definitely recommend you to go to his link and start reading those articles. Those are really interesting. I will leave that link in my description below. Okay, so back to the story. So after processor, you need to understand what kind of motherboard you want. It all depends on the peripherals you will be using, like what kind of hard disk, what kind of graphic card, or the most important is it should compatible with your processor. So compatibility is a major factor in building a PC. So make sure you buy things compatible. Or if you have any doubt, just Google it. You will know what kind of product you want and with your CPU. Right? So in my case, I got MSI motherboard. So if you want details about this motherboard or any product I will be using today, you can see the description. I have every link in the detail. I would also recommend that if you want to buy those products, please use my links. Those will really help in building my channel. So next thing, then you have to decide how much RAM you want. I bought 32 gig RAM, but you have to start with 16 gig at least. If you are into gaming or into content creation, you need to have a RAM, at least 16 gig. You can also start with 8 gig, no issue in that. If you are on budget, you can later add another 8 gig card in. That's fine. But still, I would recommend to start with 16 gig these days, because everything is more, want more power from your PC. RAM is not for the power, but if you're using multitasking, if you open multiple tabs like me, or multiple applications side by side like Premiere, Photoshop, After Effects, or browser, anything like that, you need to have more RAM so that your PC won't feel sluggish. After that, you need to have a decent memory. I would recommend to go with the SSD. So I bought this one. This is M2 type SSD. So I bought this 1 terabyte SSD. So installing everything on your SSD will affect your PC various ways. Definitely there will be a drastic difference if you compare it with your normal hard disk and SSD. If your operating system is running on your SSD, you will notice the difference in the performance. Then you need one more hard drive for your extra stuff. You need to have a space for your backup, for your photos, for your movies, everything, like basically for storage. So I bought another one. 4 TB of hard disk from Seagate. Then you also need a cooler. So I bought this one. NHD15. This is very famous. I looked up on the internet, they have very good reviews for that. This is very important when you doing intense work. When you want CPU demanding work, you need to keep your CPU cool. Then you need this kind of thing. So definitely choose this very wisely when you go for the different kind of coolers. There are two types of coolers. One is with the fan, one is with the water cooling. So it all depends on your choice. After that, you also need a VRAM, which is called video RAM. You can also call it graphic card. This is again very useful when you render heavy projects. Even if you're doing video editing, even if you're not doing any kind of animation, you still need it. If you are working with multiple layers, different transitions, using a lot of color grading, so you need to have a graphic card to render it properly, and for of course very good performance. You can play your effects in a real time with this. So I recommend at least go with the 4 gig of graphic card, but if your budget allows, go for the 8 gig at least. So this is the 8K RTX 2070. Then you need a cabinet as well, and you also need a power supply. Choose that also wisely, because based on your overall wattage you can choose according to that. Then there are some other things. You can also use Wi-Fi adapter. There are different kind of Wi-Fi adapters. You can use something which you can just insert into your USB port. I would not recommend those because performance is not very good. It's not very consistent. I would recommend you to go with something which goes on your motherboard. So this one goes on your PCIe port. This way it's more solid, more better performance, and it won't, it give you consistent performance overall. It also has an inbuilt Bluetooth, so that is also very useful. So after that you need a cabinet. Cabinet I will show you when we start doing the assembly. So let's get into the assembly now.